everyone. My name is Dara. Welcome to Dear Hallmark. And we're going to do a little something different today. Instead of talking about some Hallmark Channel stuff, we're going to talk about some UPTV stuff. And we're going to be talking about the engagement plot. I'm not by myself today. I'm joined by some friends. We have director Brandon Clark, one of the stars of the movie, Javen Campbell, and another star who's no stranger to the rom-com space, Miss Rachel Boston. Guys, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
It's so good to see you.
Thank you guys so much. So I wanted to kick this off with a fun question. And anyone can jump in. What's the last kind of like best meal that you had? Wasn't expecting that.
Lori warned me of this, and now I see why.
I'll go first. I just left West Palm Beach, and yeah, and I just had I wouldn't call it a meal, but a dessert. Okay, I cheated real bad. I had.
Why am I not shocked?
Double layered bread pudding that was piping hot with the caramel drizzling down with a scoop of vanilla bean ice cream on top. Let me just tell you right now, if that's a sin, then I'm going to hell, is all I can say.
No, that sounds like goodness and mercy is following you, okay? That's what that sounds like. That's what that sounds like. My goodness. Wow. What restaurant was it? Or was it at a hotel place? Or?
It's a restaurant. It's a rooftop restaurant that's on the top of the hotel called The Bin. It's a little boutique hotel that I really like in West Palm Beach called The Bin. And they have a rooftop restaurant, and it's just amazing.
Wow. Rachel, what about you? What's a good meal that you've had lately?
Well, Grace and I just got to California. We're here for Christmas Con and a few events. And last night, there's this mac and cheese at this place that I just love. And these salmon cakes, which totally don't go together, but because I have in a hot second, I would have to go with that.
That sounds great. That sounds great. Brandon, end us off. What did you have?
All right, I'll tell you. My favorite one was 2 nights ago. I was actually, now here's a plug, but I was at the race at Del Mar with Trevor Donovan and Bo Derek, and I left with a friend, and we went to a place called Rothschild's, and it's in Newport Beach on the PCH across from the Gulf Stream, if you guys have ever been there. But Rothschild's has this amazing marbled ribeye, and it was phenomenal. And I had, what is the siding? It's like a mixed sauce pasta with all these other sides of veggies. And it was, I don't know. That to me, I'm good. I don't need anything else. I didn't need any dessert like Javen. I was like, I'm good. I'm covered.
Oh man. I'm trying to think. I'm kind of basic. I'm like 2% milk. I had just like a bacon cheeseburger, some fries, and a milkshake. But because that's so classic and I haven't had it in a long time,
it worked.
It worked.
Now you know where to go today. That's what you're gonna have today, huh?
Well, I had it at Shake Shack. You can only have Shake Shack, but so much because those calories are like, man, they're a monster.
That's your East Coast of our In-N-Out. I'm an In-N-Out boy though.
Oh yeah. I haven't been to In-N-Out yet. That's a goal. I have food tour, like food stops that I want to make across the United States. That's a goal of mine. So In-N-Out is definitely on there for sure. For sure.
Yeah, you'll like it.
Yeah. So let's talk about before getting into the engagement plot, a little bit about you guys and how you got into the film industry, how you got into acting. Rachel, could you kick us off? What was it that got you into the film industry?
Well, I started singing in the church choir when I was 7. So I played a sheep. We had a summer production that we would do every year at church, and I just loved it. And I had asked the choir, my parents were trying to pull me out of it because it was taking so much time. And so I asked the choir director for a solo, thinking that would help, and it did. So my parents got to see that, and there was just something inside me, I think, from the beginning that knew it was like a calling that I don't quite understand, but at that age even, I knew like this is the path I want to go down. And then when I was 17, I moved to New York, and I didn't know anyone there. But I just had this idea that if I got an agent, that's how I could start to work. So I handed out headshots and resumes that I'd had printed out in Tennessee, and I would drop them off at all the offices in New York. for all the addresses. And an amazing woman called me in and couldn't believe I had just moved to New York at 17 from a mountain. And I did a monologue, and that's kind of how I started. She started sending me out for auditions. And then 2 years later, I ended up on a show called American Dreams in Los Angeles.
Wow. Now, Javen, could you tell us, because I know you as
so basic.
Javen, I know you as a singer. I remember watching you on TBN's Praise the Lord back in the day.
So,
yes. Can you talk about how, which came first, singing or acting, and how you got into acting?
I don't know. I like Rachel's story a whole lot better. So, I'd started on the journey with you, Rachel, watching you walk the streets of New York at 17. Mine is not that cool. I like Rachel though. We did start the same way. I did start in the church choir as well as a kid. My dad was a pastor, so was always singing. Went to a Christian school in Tennessee at Lee University, and there I started doing acting, theater, performing arts theater there. But the music dominated. So Lee was more of a music school, and you were more popular if you sung. So obviously your boy started singing more. And that opened the doors for a lot of professional platforms of singing. Somewhere between Tennessee and Tampa, I decided to move to Los Angeles, California. And when I moved to Los Angeles, California, the opportunity for acting started coming knocking on my door again. And so it was like a full circle moment. So I'm a late bloomer. So my first film opportunity was in 2005. And that's when I got the role on the Esther film, One Night with the King, where we filmed in India. Yeah. And that once I got that bug, I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's
ruined you.
Now, Brandon, being that I watched the Suspenders Unbuttoned podcast, I got to hear a little bit about your story and how you really have a family line in the film industry. So can you talk a little bit about that, and then how you kind of carved your own path within it?
Well, I mean, it was always a mighty influence on my life, for sure. My grandfather being a massive one, and my father, and who actually was a DP of this movie. But I kind of always knew what I was doing. I was sick and twisted as a kid. So I was like making everybody come over at 9 years old. I had my own wardrobe department and different things going on. My dad thought he owned a camera, but I really owned it. And so I made all the kids come over and make movies and do everything. And to a certain point where my dad actually thought I was driving a car, but I knew how to move the lights in a certain way and stuff. And then we got into action stuff that got kind of dangerous. But, at the end of the day, I always had a heart and passion and love for it. And I knew it was my calling from the time I was really little. It's just, we all have different paths, but I was really, really blessed to be around the legacy of it and never took it for granted. I always got to be around really amazing people that definitely shape and shift who we are. So that's kind of how I found my own path, because I found other mentors and people along the way, which is a huge blessing.
Now, Brandon and Rachel, could you guys tell me how you guys got into the rom-com space and the made-for-TV movie? Either one can go first.
Rachel's first.
I was on a TV show called Witches of East End, and we were filming nights, which is quite common on a supernatural show. And this script came to me called A Ring by Spring. And it was such a happy story. It was so cute. And it was for Hallmark. And it was my first Hallmark movie. And when I read the script, first of all, it all said daytime exterior. So I was like, we'll get to shoot during the day. I'll be awake during daytime hours. And it was just such a happy, sweet, it felt like an old-fashioned romantic comedy. So I signed on and I had an extraordinary experience. It was just so much fun. The whole Hallmark crew just really embraced me and the kind of stories I wanted to tell. And I just loved it. So that was the first one. And then after that, I was just very fortunate to continue telling these stories. And I think when you're making uplifting TV, when it's going to be a happy ending, but it's told in such a way each time, there was just something that it transformed my own life as well. And I think when your work and your life can kind of weave their way together, it's really beautiful. So that was my intro, and it gave me a break from like on the supernatural time. It was so intense. It was like, that to like happily ever after. It was nice.
Right. That makes sense for sure. I can imagine how like emotionally taxing that might have been like at times to always shoot at night. And how was it going from shooting at nights mostly to mostly day shoots? Like, was that an adjustment for you?
Huge adjustment. And it was really funny because one of the ADs, it felt like just like an angel sent from above because he had witnessed my night schedule. One of the ADs from the TV, also in my first movie, we shot both in Vancouver. Or maybe it was my second Hallmark movie, but he knew that I had been up all night for so long. So we would, during breaks, even if we were in a house, we would both walk outside and he was like, Rachel, sunlight.
Oh,
Sun out. It was really, really sweet.
yeah. So Brandon, your turn. Tell us, how did you get involved in the made-for-TV movie romance space?
I got one word for you, or actually one name for you, Brian Bird.
Oh,
That's literally how it started. He convinced me. I'm like, man, I'm not the person for you. And and then he goes, Brandon, just meet him 50-50. I said, I can do that. I can keep the 9-act structure. But what I was impressed by is that how the 9-act structure and formulaic approach is so different from what we're used to, like in television, like Rachel's TV series and stuff. That's a 4-act structure. And then our movies that I'm used to is 3. And so the storytelling is a little different, but I see why now that I've met, the culture and everything around it. But I also love the alternative content and the option for us to have soul cravings. So it was a great option that we could do it independently with Brian, and we make a great team, and I love having him. And so it was a go for sure. I enjoy it. They're fun sets. So I love it.
And it looks like you guys, oh, I'm sorry, Rachel, go ahead.
Oh no, well, when Brandon picked me up from the airport, which was so sweet, that was the level of like commitment and joy this project we all had together. Brian, he was like, I think Brandon wants to pick you up if that's okay. I'm like, yes, I'd love that. So, and that was one of the first conversations we had of like, he's like, this is kind of new to me, but I think like bringing we both had a very like independent, we all did, I think on this film, particularly a very independent spirit. So to be able to dive a little deeper in certain areas, but still keep the 9-act structure. It was on this journey with Brandon.
It gave us a lot of freedom and collaboration. Oh yeah. And by the way, we do have another actress that's on this, this podcast right now, is Gracie. So she is in the movie and she has a credit, just so you know.
In the womb. Grace, this is your first movie. It's her first Zoom. It's her
Oh, that's so precious.
That's so dope.
It's so cool though that you guys talk about just how friendly and open and joyful the sets are, because I think us as viewers, we can see that and it translates on screen. And speaking of which, let's not make the people wait any longer. Let's get into the engagement plot. Javen, if you can tell us a little bit about the movie from your perspective and who you play in the movie.
Well, in my opinion, the film is just kind of an incredible take on what would be similar to kind of what we've experienced with shows like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. And just the kind of reality TV approach to what it feels like to be in one of those types of situations. And you kind of get like a backdoor look or behind the scenes look at, what people go through when they get into a competition like this. And as a result of that, like all things, there is the real connection that people have along the journey. And I don't want to tell too much, but you kind of see a connection that happens with Rachel's character, and then of course the main character Trevor Donovan plays, and kind of that whole thing of maybe not being the likely person to pick and romance and all that kind of stuff. And I just really think it kind of I would say view like a book, like a story. It's a great story. It's a great love story. It's a great story of redemption, of hope, and just all the cool stuff that you want when you see a movie like this. The role I play, obviously, is the villain.
So fitting.
Now, why do you say obviously? There's some subtext there.
I just seem to always get
He's a great distractor.
I always seem to get the role. I love it, by the way, but I get to come in and stir the pot a little bit and keep them going. I play the role of the producer, but but I'm stirring it up.
It's always the producers in those reality TV movies. That's always, someone just came in. Hold on, who's this? Someone just.
Uh-oh. What?
Wow.
Tasha Page-Lockhart.
We gotta give her a hard
she
time.
She comes in late with her logo. Who comes in late with the logo?
Tasha's gonna get roasted on this end.
Excuse me, let me get my logo out. Rachel, put your logo up, please.
First of all,
you're the star of the movie. Why don't you put your logo up?
First of all, don't do me like that. Second of all, I'm always on Zooms with a bunch of church folks. And sometimes you got to come in subtle with your logo first because you're trying to get situated and you don't want to.
God, I'm so embarrassed.
You don't want to be on camera.
Wow. Hey,
you are embarrassing the gospel
podcast.
community right now. If you don't take that logo off.
Don't do it.
Thank you.
There she is.
I cannot believe it's always the people closest to you that do you wrong.
We're just glad you put the cigarette out before you went live.
Oh my gosh. Oh, well.
Rachel's sitting back like, what is happening? Hey, Rachel, first off, Tasha's the one who wrote our theme song in the trailer and the song at the end of the movie. She's the rock star who did all that.
Brandon sent me your music early on, and it is just fantastic. So thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is for you. This is for you, Javen. This is for you. I made sure I had my stellars in the view just for you.
Is that why you were late? You had to go move
I was trying to get everything prepped.
You had to get over the trophy case.
Right.
Oh, this is great. Y'all got me crying.
I'm not in my office, so I don't have my awards with me, okay?
Oh man, well everyone, like Brandon said, Tasha Page-Lockhart, she is a gospel singer who wrote the theme song for the Engagement Plot trailer, and you also hear that song at the end of the movie. Tasha, how are you doing? Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. I'm doing amazing. I am just honored to be a part of this project, and I've told Brandon this before privately, but I have to say it publicly. God used him to make one of my dreams come true. I've always said that I wanted to have a song in a movie. And so I don't take this lightly. This is not just another day. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to the release. I love the quality of it. I love the way it looks. It doesn't look low budget because it's not. It doesn't look, sometimes you don't know what you're getting into. So when he called me, I was just like, oh yeah, okay. But when he sent me the trailer, I literally sat back in my chair like, wow. Like, God, you love me that much that you allow me to be a part of something of this magnitude. And so I'm just, even the message, like, and I understand, I haven't been knowing him a long time, but what I have learned about him in a short period of time is that I know that everything that he's going to attach his name to is going to be something that's going to have a message behind it. And he's a man of integrity. And so I'm just happy that my gifts and talents are being used for good and that the world is going to hear my voice and my music. And it just so happens to be doing this with my other big brother, Pastor Javen. So, it's a family affair. I'm just excited.
Hey. I did
it.
pay her to say all those things, by the way. So we got that covered.
And you can go ahead and cash at me now. Go ahead and cash at me now.
But Tasha, can you tell us a little bit about your inspiration behind writing the song and just kind of where your headspace was, your heart space was as you were writing the lyrics for the song?
Yeah, so the song that I wrote, I actually wasn't going to post it on Instagram. I was trying to post another song on Instagram that wouldn't upload. And then I had this one and I was like, I'm gonna just post it because I want to make sure I'm consistent with my content.
Oh, that's a good story.
And so I posted this one, and then about maybe 20 minutes after it being up, Brandon hit me up and was like, I need that song. And I was like, what song? Because I forgot that I posted it. He was like, that one that you just posted. I'm like, for what? He was like, for an upcoming movie. So it was just like my headspace for that was, I was literally ready to give up.
Oh, wow.
No lie. I was literally ready to give up. I was extremely depressed. I was borderline suicidal. I was going through a traumatic situation that I'm still in therapy. Like, people just don't know. Like, I was going through having a hard time. And the lyrics to that song, that's why the chorus says, What's the chorus? I don't even know the chorus to my song. What's the chorus?
Wow.
Brandon, you know it. What is it? What is it, Brandon?
Wow. Hold on. The song is even called Hold On.
The first part of it.
The first part. I don't know. Maybe we just need to play it right now. I got to think about this now too. You got me.
Anyway,
you got
the
me
lyrics
conflicted.
to that song, when the lyrics to that song, when it talks about holding on,
it was leading
when
up about
letting
everything
go is calling your name.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Like it literally, and that's what people don't know about a spirit of suicide. It's a seducing spirit. So a person that commits suicide don't just decide to do it that day. It's been enticing them. And it's been like suggesting, do this, you should do this, you should give up, you should. And so that's why the words of that song are so powerful, because I was experiencing that at the time when I wrote those lyrics. I love that. And it's not just about suicide. It's anything, relationships, your business. If you're thinking about giving up because it may be not doing as well as you thought it would do, your ministry, whatever it may be, just hold on. Don't give up. Don't listen to the lies. Don't listen to whatever the enemy may be trying to whisper in your ear. Just hold on. And so I knew that this message would reach the masses and it would help a lot of people. I just didn't think it would do, in this way. And so that's where I was when I wrote the lyrics.
Wow. Wow.
Come on.
Can I just say, wow.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Thank you much.
Yes. It's always in those low moments, like our pain sometimes is not just for us, it is for other people,
Absolutely. And I didn't write it by myself. I just want to say this real quick. I didn't write it by myself. So I want to give credit to Tyrone Judah, who helped me write the lyrics. I don't want people to think that, I'm just a team of one. I have a whole team of people. I have a whole.
We all know that music industry.
Tasha, we know it takes a whole lot to do all that. So trust me, we're fine.
Ooh, the shade of it.
Rachel, put that baby back up.
Yeah, Crazy is the most beautiful baby ever. Hey. Hey, Tasha, I remember. Go ahead, Ray. Sorry.
What were you gonna say?
Tasha, just hearing the story, it made me get this flashback about being in the hotel like I am right now. And I called you and I remember going, hey, what are you going through? That's the first thing I asked. Absolutely. Because I want to know what was behind it. And my spirit felt that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I go, this is the message for the story, no matter what. And it's so beautiful when art, we all have our different artistic talents and giftings. And when they come to alignment, it's a beautiful thing. And when it all does that, the storytelling has layers to it. It's not what's cinematically done, just that. It's not just the actors, it's not just what I try to portray in the storytelling and timing and tempo. It's the music, it's the layers, everything is in alignment. It's a beautiful, beautiful connection there. And it's just awesome. So I'm grateful for you, by the way. Just want to tell you.
Thank you.
Seems to be your theme in movie making is just alignment and trust, because the way I came into this project as well, it was very last minute.
Oh yeah.
Sure. And
wow.
Brian sent me this email, who's our producer, along with Brandon, and just said, God's put you on my heart for this film. And the timing was fast. It was really interesting timing because I was 6 months pregnant at that moment with this little angel right here. And to not know, it was just such an extraordinary, hearing Tasha's story, it just feels like so many people were brought together at a time in their life where they really needed it, and to see God working in so many different directions to bring one creative project together is really a beautiful testament. So I'm very inspired to hear how your music that's so uplifting for this film came into play as well.
Thank you. Praise God. I remember the lyrics now. I remember it. So
she looked them up, Javen. She looked them up.
Yeah. I did not look them up.
Listen, I just texted you. I said, we can see your phone in your eyeglasses.
I did not look them up. Somebody was texting me. Y'all don't do this to me.
Oh, wow. So you weren't even, so let me get this right. So while Rachel was complimenting you, you weren't even paying attention.
I was paying attention. I'm multitasking. Don't do this to me.
This is how we always talk. So
I love it. It's like family. Like I love
it. Anyways, the engagement plot
that we're talking about.
was shot in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I couldn't breathe the first day. I thought I was gonna die.
Was that your first time in Colorado? Like, where'd you?
No, it's just that I live in Florida now, and I just haven't been that high up in a minute. So The body was not feeling that at all.
They brought us oxygen. It was
Really?
Yeah,
Rachel
it
was a
it a
trooper.
challenge.
Being that far along pregnant and that high altitude, Rachel, you were a trooper, girl.
Well,
You're a rock star.
found even just to make sure, and they were like, "Oh, your baby's fine. You're just not."
Oh,
He's totally, but it's sense.
Crazy's fine.
Like the altitude is, but
Wow.
a little better when Javen came along and he was going through the same thing. It was like, okay.
Yeah. I was excited for my first scene. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Something's up.
Something's off here.
Something's going. I got COVID. I don't know. Something's going on.
We all know 7 needed to be served, so it was really he just wanted people to bring in stuff. So it wasn't really the same level of Rachel.
Now, it's rare in this made-for-TV romance space that when they shoot in places in America, it's actually in America. So how did that come about that you were able to shoot this movie in Colorado and have, like, with it being set in Colorado?
Well, I don't know if you know, but Brian Bird lives in Colorado. He lives in Castle Rock. And so while we were going through the story, he had a partner, Larry Douglas, who lives in Colorado Springs too. And we started to get on phone calls early, along with Jim Janicek, all the executive producers. And I started brainstorming with them. I said, give me everything we got in the town and what's around. And then all of a sudden they started pitching all this stuff. So we went out, we go out like our normal scout, but I have to feel something. And it just didn't connect. We went to like the Broadmoor and all these big things. I'm like, no, I want a more intimate setting in Castle. When I saw Glen Erie, I'm like, this is perfect. Like I can do everything here. We'll rewrite to this. We're creative, solution oriented people. And I looked at Brian and said, this is what it's all about, problem solving creatively. I'd rather have this and this feeling and mood. And so a lot of things they kind of came together. And Larry did a really good job at people in Colorado were so open armed to us that it was easier to get locations and deal with things. We still had tough, that last scene of the movie. I mean, there's people coming around, like going everywhere. You would not know the chaos, but we pulled it off somehow. And Rachel somehow kept it together, even though she had to be on the other side of Trevor, which that's just ridiculous. I mean, I got to give you a better actor next time. I'm sorry, Rachel. I apologize.
He's not here to defend himself.
No, he skipped out to hey.
So he's paying him back.
Yeah.
You know it.
I do want to say this, Dora. When you put these movies together, a lot of times people, they see the end result, and so it looks glamorous and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, everything from scouting out the right castle you're going to see in this film, to the landscape, the mountains, and just all the beauty and whatnot that Colorado brings in this romance. That takes a lot of detailed work. And I have to commend my brother Brandon and his team for really going the extra mile to get it right. And I think they did. I mean, when you see the trailer and the overhead shots and you just see the mountains and the beautiful landscape, it's just really amazing. He didn't really have to go that far to try to capture all that, but he did. And that's why I think the engagement plot is really, really going to be a great film for all viewers that catch it and watch it.
Yes. Rachel, could you tell us a little bit about your character and what the movie is about from your perspective?
Well, this was the first reality show introduced to a romantic comedy that I have read and seen. So it was very interesting to play. First of all, I have not watched The Bachelor or Bachelorette like all the way through before until this movie, and neither had Trevor.
You and me both. Yeah, all three of us.
We all started watching and just trying to find those moments where it's like, what is the truth? What is real in this? And I think Javen's character, it's such an interesting, because there's so many different ways to approach it. But when you find true love in an experience that is being so manipulated and you're hearing all these voices from the outside, Trevor has to really figure out what's the truth for him. And he makes some mistakes along the way. Trevor Donovan's character, not
I was going to say, Trevor made some mistakes. Go ahead, do tell. Spill the tea.
I'll send that man up.
Spill the tea.
Fun way to approach just like what really matters in life and what actually like is all the noise. I mean, I think I was singing. Trevor and I really broke into a lot of dancing and musical numbers while we were making this film. And there was one about I think it was like a Little Mermaid song that I would burst into, like when we were doing.
When did you not sing Little Mermaid? Good morning. And then Mermaid would come out every morning we pick you up.
Something more profound about what was happening. That was my musical. Just about like what actually, and the power and the money and all the distraction when you're in a world like that, of even social media content and what's flashy and just here right now, and what actually matters for the human heart and soul, and who's going to elevate you and make you a more inspired, better person. And I think that was kind of how we all approached it, is in today's modern world, what is truth and what is fantasy, what's distraction. And I think it was really a fun way to explore.
And I think with the film too, the story tells of how people try to get involved and manipulate something to where, true love cannot, prevail. And and you'll see a tug of war go there with Rachel's character and her trying to make a decision on what she should do, for best for business or for, following her heart and all that. And so I think it really kind of speaks to, I think, a lot of today's situations when it comes to love and romance and trying to keep up that facade on social media of being in love versus, really following your heart when something's not right or when it is right. So in that way, I think it's a great, great, great story. And Rachel does a phenomenal job. Rachel, I got a question for Rachel. Dora, let me take over your little.
Oh, wow. Here we go. Typical Javen. I got
I just got started. What in
the world? See, Tasha?
Tasha's busy. She's going next booking for her next church where she has to go.
Yeah,
sing.
she's already booking stuff.
So,
right.
Tasha, just put your logo back up. We'll know when you're ready. Right. So Dora, look at me telling Rachel's business. So Rachel, you do. I noticed that you do a laugh or a giggle right before you go into a scene. What is that about? The world wants to know. They've been texting me and they've been DMing me, and they want to know, what does Rachel do right before?
That was probably because Trevor was telling me jokes. I was probably laughing for every take in our movie. What is it? Do you have something to say? Do you feel left out, sweetheart?
Jamie got his way.
That's what I wanted.
She wants to be part of this. Do you want to see all the people? Yeah, you were this. This is such a special movie for me, because I was 6 months pregnant with her when we started this, and to just have that much support from this incredible team. We were bringing this to life. And then when Brandon asked me to do this morning or last night, I was like, I absolutely can, but I just traveled with my precious angel and I will be alone. She has to join. So, but to answer your question, I think Trevor Donovan had me in stitches most of the movie laughing, because it was just such a light, fun set, and we would just joke around so much fun. But hopefully that translates.
I think you're being lightly about this. I'm just saying, because there was Rachel and I had some inside jokes going heavy on T. We were pushing Trevor to the max, like just beating him down. But I don't know. There's both sides of this.
The only person you can make fun of to that degree and not be taken seriously, though, is Trevor.
Right.
But we
it got so bad. Brian Bird thought we were like, he came up to me when he just showed up to set one day and literally turned to me and goes, "You're going to give him a complex." And I'm like, what? And he was freaking out about him.
Not Trevor.
Well, they would set up for Trevor's close-up and I'd be like, wait, is Trevor still in this movie? Is he here?
And I would turn to Rachel. I go, "Rachel, no. That camera's not what we're on. It's just for him to feel like he's part of it still. We're gonna let him have his single that he thinks he's getting, but the horse is really getting shot in the back right now, and he's covering his role." We would just keep going the whole time.
Hey, man, let me just tell you, y'all talking about Trevor, but I was just with those guys. What's that? Ramacom? What is that thing called?
Ramadrama.
Ramadrama. So we was just at Ramadrama, and let me tell you, when Trevor stepped out with that little blonde hair, man, them ladies went crazy.
I was there as well. I witnessed that. I was there as well.
Oh, were you there? Yeah, he
Yeah.
stepped out, man. They were going crazy. Rachel, Ray, you probably, let me see. Rachel, you
I was
probably taking the baby, huh?
no, I was filming. I actually just shot my first Hallmark movie back post baby. So we've got
Awesome.
the in the same weekend it airs. So on the 20th. Oh, honey, I may have to hop off, guys. I tried.
No, that's okay.
You did great, Rach.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Gosh, thank you for having both of us. Grace, this is your first movie credit crew. This is your first credit crew. Thank you, Brandon, for embracing women. I think being able to work as an actress up until the last minute of that I could actually do it without like just working on her nursery. Such an extraordinary experience. And I think more men that celebrate a woman's journey. I applaud everyone in this team, and to be back to work with her now and to know that we were on that journey together from the beginning with my daughter is really incredible. So shout out to all the strong, dynamic world that embrace women.
Amen.
Can you say amen, Grace? Can you say amen?
Now she's like, now she stops.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel.
All right. Have a great interview. Bye, guys.
Bye.
So dope. You gotta love Rachel, man. She's such a sweet person. Like what you see is what you get. Real talk.
I love that. So could you guys tell me, what is one thing, if you had to pick one thing, because I know this movie is packed with a lot, but what is one thing that you would want the viewers at home to take away after they watch this movie? Tasha, I'll have you go first. What would be one thing you would want the viewers to take away?
Well, what I would say is I haven't watched the whole movie and I wasn't there for the filming process. So what I can say just from watching the trailer is that go on the roller coaster, go on it. Laugh with them, cry with them, think with them. You know what I'm saying? Reflect. Think about your personal experiences, your relationships, and don't give up on love. I think that's the main thing. You know, no matter what the situation looks like, how it's presented, no matter how things came together, people have so many different stories, love stories of how they met somebody. And now we're living in the day of social media. And it's like, some people are embarrassed to say, oh yeah, he slid in my DMs, but y'all real happy right now. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. Y'all, you may have met your boo from a dating app. It's okay. If y'all happy, be happy. But make sure God is in the center of it. You know what I'm saying? And I think this movie is a well-balanced movie. It's well-balanced. It's not so overly spiritual and deep. It's not so raunchy and crazy where it's like, oh my God, but it gives so many different aspects to everyday life. And so anyone can relate to it. And so that's what I got just from watching the trailer. So hats off to everybody involved. Salute, much respect, Brandon, everybody. Like how many, and this is the thing. I was in communication with you while you were filming this. So to see all of the hats that you were wearing, from directing to producing to being involved in the music and just the editing process and flying back home to be with your family and then going right back to Colorado, like being everything to all of the people in your life, that's commendable. And being able to still focus on your business, like it really is. And so it speaks a lot about the man that you are. And it's showing and it's shining through your projects. So I would recommend anyone to watch this movie. And it definitely is a family movie, and the message is going to shine through.
I love that. Javen, how
top
do you follow up to that?
Javen, come on. Javen, what you got?
Come on, 7.
I feel like once she got focused, she nailed it.
Exactly, right?
Who knew?
Who knew I
think everything that Tasha said, I kudos and amen that and echo that. The only other thing I would add is that to me, I think the film is a friendly reminder that everything is not as it seems, and that what you see out front is not necessarily what's going on behind the scenes. And like Tasha said, it's okay to deal with the truth about the situation, whatever it may be, whether you're one of the girls that's just trying to be famous and get on in the reality show process, or if you're Rachel's character where you really wasn't even trying to be nothing, but out of nowhere, love comes and hits you in a way that you didn't think, with a person that you thought you would never, that's not even your type, and all that kind of stuff. And then to just have to fight through manipulative people like my character, and trying to basically, my character, Tasha, that's how acting goes. You do know it's not real.
Her face said it all.
Don't come for me. Don't come for me. Back up. Back up. You had your time.
Tasha gets to be perfect, so she's got the music to go. Look, I tell the whole story, okay, Javen?
Right. So yeah, I think the engagement plot just kind of reminds all those romantics at heart, don't just think it's going to happen the way you think it's going to happen. Love comes in different ways, different forms, and sometimes it catches you off guard, which is what the engagement plot is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, Brandon, take us home.
All right. Well, I by the way, thank you, both of you, and they both did an amazing job, as we can tell, and you can tell from this how talented they both are. That's my brother and sister, so this is the most amazing thing to have them real quick. I love this movie because I feel like we walk two paths and they're parallel. And in those two paths, you have one girl that makes a certain decision and a girl that makes another decision, and they both operate their lives in different ways. And the results are showing during that movie. And in that path, at the center of it is reality. Is the reality show real? Is social media real at all? Is there any authenticity to any of this? And it's the world on the outside of those two paths trying to crash them in on a crash course really fast. And you can see the results from the decisions that they made. And then as we continue down, which one had a different path. And I think it's important for women these days and just, and from men, just looking at it from the outside in and experiencing it. We live a time where everybody wants things fast, comfortable, easy. We play the game on the social media platform of, is that worth it to have 300 plus million followers? Is it worth it to have this? What's value to you and true value in itself? And there's one line in the movie that I think that resonates at all, is where God guides, God provides. And that's kind of the message of the whole movie in itself. And it's a beautiful thing on how Tasha's song correlates that so much. When you're lost, you still are found, and you've been found the whole time, and you were never lost originally. But we just need that simple reminder. We need those simple people in our lives, and we need that simple calling from God to direct us. And so I think we do it softly and organically with a little bit of soul cravings, and I hope people are blessed by it.
Awesome. Well, Tasha, Javen, Brandon, thank you guys so much for being here. Don't be a stranger. You're always welcome back. And everyone watching or listening, be sure to catch the engagement plot. It is going to air on UPTV August 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey. Set your reminders, set your alarms, tell your mom and them, your pops and them, your cousin them. Tell everybody to go and watch this movie. Guys, thank you so much. And everyone, I will talk to you guys in the next episode.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dora.